One of the biggest leadership challenges is to build bridges between departments or, in a church setting, ministries. Over time, some departments become protective of their turf, resulting in competitiveness and an unwillingness to cooperate with other departments. Interoperability is the ability of various organizational departments to work together interdependently for the good of the organization. How can organizational leaders and managers foster this kind of interoperable workplace environment? The first way that leaders can do this is to build a strong collective vision. In order to build bridges between departments, there must be something greater than departmental interest to grab the attention of organizational members. A strong collective vision helps members to realize that their department is part of a larger effort, especially when they have contributed in a meaningful way to creating the vision. The implication for leaders is to facilitate ongoing vision-building processes that are highly participatory. People throughout the organization need to get their fingerprints all over the organizational vision. Organizational leaders and departmental leaders must then continually weave the vision into every aspect of the workplace. As members understand that they're part of a larger effort that transcends their departments, they'll be more likely to work with other departments to achieve the bigger organizational vision. There are at least two dangers in building a strong collective vision. First, leaders sometimes assume that people will just naturally live out the vision once they have articulated it or heard it. Unfortunately, people tend to lose vision over time, and leaders must work hard to keep the vision alive and growing in an organization. Second, leaders may mistakenly think that the larger organizational vision replaces departmental visions. It's true that the organizational vision must become the overarching vision within the organization to keep the organization headed in an appropriate direction. However, it's important that leaders work with their departmental leaders to help them develop strong departmental visions that contribute to the organizational vision. People tend to get more passionate about a vision that specifically taps into their passions and sense of purpose. A departmental vision is often able to do this more effectively because it can focus on the passions and interests that presumably brought people to the department in the first place. To go even further, departmental leaders can help individuals in their departments develop their own personal work visions that support the larger departmental and organizational visions. For the individual, a personal vision can be incredibly inspiring and can cause individuals to engage in extraordinary efforts that benefit themselves, their departments, and the organization. The second way to build bridges between organizational departments is to build meaningful relationships. The most significant relationships when it comes to building bridges across departments are the relationships between departmental leaders and between those leaders and organizational leaders. Organizational leaders must schedule regular team-building activities that foster these kinds of relationships. Weekly or bi-weekly leadership meetings that are fun, engaging, and meaningful are foundational to this kind of ongoing relationship building. Even though discussing business needs to happen in these meetings, it's also important to include team-building activities that encourage departmental leaders to work together. In addition, many organizational leaders find it useful to schedule annual or semi-annual team-building retreats that feature activities that build a sense of team. It may also be helpful for departmental leaders to take self-awareness tests like the Myers-Briggs and share the results with each other as a way to build self-awareness and awareness of team strengths and weaknesses. In situations where there is long-term animosity between departmental leaders, it's important for organizational leaders to attempt a mediated resolution to the problem. Acrimonious relationships always hurt an organization. The third bridge-building technique is to promote open dialogue. Unspoken cross-departmental tension tends to grow in a way that is disproportionate to the initial problem that spawned the tension. In fact, many cross-departmental tensions are a result of miscommunication or a lack of communication. It's imperative that organizational leaders build a climate for open dialogue within the organization. Organizational members need to know that it's okay to question practices and seek clarification. Organizational leaders set a tone for this kind of dialogue by welcoming and facilitating open discussions in a non-defensive manner. Leaders can do so by freely sharing their own viewpoints and encouraging others to do the same. In order to create a safe place for this kind of communication, leaders must lay down ground rules related to confidentiality. What is said in the group remains in the group. Respect. It's okay to critique others' ideas, but not other people. Diversity. The goal is not conformity, rather the group seeks to promote diversity so that each person can contribute their perspective. When this happens, everyone benefits. Accepting differences. Group members are unique people. Sometimes individual differences will lead to tensions in the group. That's normal and healthy. The goal is not to minimize those differences, but to accept them and make the most of them as a diverse team that can accomplish more because it is diverse. Number 5 is experimentation. In group discussions, individuals will often experiment with new ideas. Group members should hold their position tentatively, as they may find that a better position emerges through the pooling of ideas. Another way to strengthen ties between departments is to establish cross-departmental teams. In order to increase organizational effectiveness and to promote an awareness of what happens in other departments, it may be useful to establish these kinds of cross-departmental teams. Organizational leaders can do this at the departmental leader level by getting groups of departmental leaders to carry out a specific and meaningful task. However, the cross-departmental teams need not be comprised of departmental leaders, but could be made up of other departmental members. It's important that the leaders of these cross-departmental teams conduct the discussions in such a way as to emphasize the organizational vision, build relationships, and promote a spirit of cooperation. The 5th way to break down barriers between departmental silos is to encourage the sharing of resources. As organizational leaders build a strong collective vision, foster the development of relationships, promote open dialogue, and establish cross-departmental teams, they may find that there's a growing willingness within departments to share resources with other departments. This might take the form of sharing ideas, equipment, or personnel. It's important that organizational leaders applaud these kinds of exchanges and streamline the processes to make it even easier for departments to share resources. Obviously, in a union setting, organizational leaders would work closely with the representative unions to ensure that the process is equitable. Organizational leaders know that they are making progress in building bridges between departments when they see departments increasingly helping each other. In this segment, I've proposed 5 ways to build bridges between organizational departments. As leaders build and reinforce departmental bridges, they will develop an organization whose members are more unified as they rally around a collective vision. They'll have stronger relationships and will engage in open dialogue, resulting in greater worker satisfaction, effectiveness, and synergy as people work in a spirit of collaboration and cooperation. In the end, the individuals, departments, and the organization will be more productive. The process of building these kinds of bridges is particularly challenging in older organizations with rigid departmental boundaries, and where departmental competition has bred mistrust and unhealthy conflict. The process of building cross-departmental bridges may challenge deeply held assumptions and require a reshaping of organizational and departmental cultures. This kind of reshaping process is long and arduous and requires a strong commitment to the kinds of strategies that I've mentioned. Yet the benefits of building an interoperable organization are well worth the effort.